Bonjour, this is Emma at Words and Peace and Friends Book Tours. This time I've decided to present to you the books I'm going to read in December through this video. So here are the 11 books I plan to read this month. And as usual, I'm first going to start with the books I'm currently reading and hoping to finish very soon. So first of all, Paradise Lost by John Milton. I only have a very bland copy of all his works, so you don't really see too much. I'm in book 8 out of 12, so I think I'll finish very soon. I started actually a long time ago, several months ago, and I had an edition with lots of notes. And I realized actually I do not need all those notes, but if there are footnotes, well, I feel like I have to read them. So I changed the edition because actually Milton is pretty clear and easy. If you want to compare, I've read Dante, the Divine Comedy recently, and there I absolutely needed the notes because in Dante there's tons of political references to the political life in Italy at this time, and I had no idea what was really going on, between all the different dukes and stuff in Italy. So I definitely needed notes. But Milton is a fantastic epic poem, basically retelling the whole story of creation. And well, I'm very familiar with the biblical material, so it's very easy. And it's fun. It's very well written. I like very much his poetry. So this is what I'm going to finish. And then I'm reading a book a bit every day. It's called A Curious Collection of Dates. And so it's actually for every day of the year. It's one or several little notices related to the work of Sherlock Holmes. So it can be really anything. It can be about the life of an actor, or it can be a political person that was mentioned in one story of Sherlock Holmes, etc. It's really fun. So I'm reading a bit every day, so of course I'll finish on December 21st. And I'm also reading an ebook. It's a posthumous work. It's actually the latest collection of essays by Umberto Eco, and it's called Chronicles of a Liquid Society. It's actually a collection of columns he wrote along several decades, actually, for a Italian newspaper. It's spot on, Umberto Eco. I don't know if you ever read his nonfiction. Is an amazing author, and it's a lot views about society, our current society, and it's fantastic. A lot about social media, but actually all kinds of issues, and it's very well done, very great perception. And also, as usual, I always read a spiritual book, and this time it's a biography, Man of God. It's the biography of Saint John of Shanghai in San Francisco. He was an Orthodox bishop, and quite unusual, very, very close to people, very devoted to helping people, to helping the sick. Excellent. Okay, then the next section is books then when I'm done with these that I plan to read during the month. Now, our library this year has launched something really exciting. It's a reading challenge, so you had to tell the library your favorite genres and your last 4 books, the last 4 books you read, and a member of the staff picked up a book for you, and then you have to read this book. I believe you have 2 months to read it, and you write a review about it, and there's going to be a little giveaway. No, actually, I think they're going to draw 3 names, and those 3 people will win money to buy something in our own city. So I was totally excited with this, as if I needed another reading challenge, right? But it's the first time a library, public library, does this. I thought it was really, really cool. So they found this book for me, The White Tiger by Arvind Adiga, an author I had no idea about, and it's going to be actually quite a challenge because this is about India, and usually I have a hard time with books about India because I always find them quite depressing, interesting but quite depressing. So it's going to be an interesting challenge. Then part of another challenge, because I'm part of the Classics Club, we recently had the Classics Spin. So, you know, the Classics Club is you pick up 50 classics that you plan to read within the next 5 years. And then 2 or 3 times a year, they have a classic spin, meaning you a week ahead of that spin, you select 20 of your 50 books to read, and then they give you a number, and you have to read that book within a month. So the number that was picked for me corresponded to Arsène Lupin. That's I would say basically the French Sherlock Holmes. Well, one of them. There are several actually, but quite a classic. And I'm not even sure I ever read one of them. If I did, it's a long time ago. I totally forgot. So this will be the first volume, and I'm going, of course, to read it in French. Then, oh, I forgot actually, the very first book I will read after is going also to be part of that. By Milton is going to be Paradise Regained. After Paradise Lost, Paradise Regained. And this is just about 50 pages in that edition, so it should be good. And I've never read that one. Paradise Lost, actually, I read it and studied it when I was at the university in France, but I don't think I ever read Paradise Regained. Okay, so that was that. So there's The White Tiger, Arsène Lupin. And then through NetGalley, I received Carnegie's Maid, which is the latest book by Mary Benedict, which I enjoyed very much last year. She was at Book Expo America, and she wrote The Other Einstein, the life of Einstein's wife. It was fascinating, so I thought I would try her second novel. And also for a tour, I received The Body in the Casket. I've never read this author either, and it's cozy mystery, so I really plan to do that if I have time. If not, I'll be beginning of January because my review for this one is due only on January 11th. And then finally, the last section is always audiobooks. And if you've been following my blog for a while, you realize that it's been several months now that I finally succumbed and subscribed to a audiobook, audiobook monthly subscription. It's called eStories. It's actually cheaper than Audible. And, my public library has all the audiobooks I can imagine or desire to read, and if they don't have them, I can always have them through another public library connected to mine. And plus, my public library has also 3 digital databases where I can listen to on streaming to many audiobooks, but they don't have any French audiobooks. They have, I believe, a few in Spanish, but none in French. And I realized that with eStories, they had a lot of even very brand new French books. So I thought, hey, this is great. So one of my most favorite woman French author, an author of thrillers, is Fred Vargas. And luckily, eStories has her books. So I've been listening to all the books by Fred Vargas. So I'm currently in number 8, which is called Un lieu incertain, an uncertain place, or mysterious place. And so that's my current audiobook. And the next one is going to be L'Armée Furieuse, literally the Furious Army. I have no idea what it's about, so I'm just translating literally. Et voilà, donc, so, see, now I'm going to go on speaking in French to you. So these will be the 11 books I plan to read in December. Let me know in a comment below the video if you read any of these and what are you planning to read in December. And I wish you a very happy last month of reading of December and talk to you very soon. Au revoir.